I finished my sketchbook. Finally, I finally finished my current sketchbook, which means we got to take a tour. Follow me as we traverse the various pages. I will show you every single page. Some I am very, very excited about, some not so much. But either way, I don't want there to be any secrets between us, you know? Personally, I love looking at artists' sketchbooks. It's a peek into their soul, their very essence, the tumultuous turmoil of the inner creative spirit. Yes, all those things. But also just, yay, it's fun. It's cool. There are definitely going to be a few sketches, maybe a few, that I haven't shown the public. But the vast majority I've posted online as I finished each sketch on my Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. But I might have a couple little things to say about certain sketches and whatnot. And anyway, I just hope you enjoy this tour. Alright, first thing first, let's go over to supplies. My sketchbook is a moleskin sketchbook. You can find these at pretty much any art supply store generally. They also have a pretty good online store. But I really like them because they're pretty practical. They're the perfect size for my favorite purse that I take everywhere, and I do like to take my sketchbooks everywhere I go, just in case I have an idea. They also just last a long time. They take a lot of beatings. I am just really rough on anything that I carry every day. So I'm just always impressed at how long they last, and the pages never come out and get stupid, and yeah, so I really like moleskins. I also like the sketchbook because of the type of paper in it. You can use mixed media. I often will paint in my sketchbook using acrylic or watercolor, or using different inks and things. So that's the sketchbook of choice for me. My pens that I really like drawing with are Faber Castell India ink pens, Faber Castell Pitt artist pens. And they are India ink based, and they're waterproof, so you can paint over them without worrying about them running. And a trusty eraser of some variety. This one happens to be some sort of alligator eraser that I got from the Dollar Tree. As well as this, I do generally just get my mechanical pencils and things like that from the dollar store. Cheapies. The watercolor that you might see in the sketchbook is Grumbacher, and the acrylic paint is Daler Rowney System 3 3D acrylic paint. Alright, so that is the basic ingredients of my sketchbook. Alright, one of my favorite things to do with sketchbooks is to decorate them with stickers of made by my friends and fellow artists, and my own stickers. So this sticker is made by a local artist named Notes Zulu, and he gave me this sticker, so I had to put it on my sketchbook. I love it. I mean, look at it. It's like fairies with keys and an eyeball, and look at this painted faux wood grain. I can't get over it. So that's that. On to the interior. These are just various stickers. Again, I think I got this out of one of those quarter machines. And I felt like it pretty summed up my life. Grumpy cats are great. This is a sticker made by my friend Darcy, also known as Silly Weird Things. This is Medicine Man. This is Krista Daggermouth. This is Snaky Jake and Vox Romana. These are all local street art sticker head peoples and kitties. Ready for the first page? Okay, here we go. Coincidentally, usually the first pages are the last pages I actually draw in. I usually start on the very next page. So this is actually one of the newest sketches of mine done for Mermaid. So you'll see quite a lot of this. I'll talk about it quite a few times probably, so I might as well explain Mermaid. In the month of May, in various parts of the intranet, artists get together and draw mermaids every day of the month of May, and hashtag Mermaid. So here we go. She's kind of like a warrior mermaid lady with some sort of trophy head she's carrying back. And I really like this cute little chubby mermaid who's looking on. I think she's pretty impressed. And another mermaid sketch. I sketched this while I was binge watching Anne with an E on Netflix. Anyway, I'm a sucker for period piece dramas, thus the kind of period piecey purple dress that this mergal is wearing. She's a bit bashful. She's turned away from the point of view, and I really like her little braids floating off, giant tail coming out of her dress, with her hands kind of behind her back, kind of coyly. And on the next page over here, I drew Aura Singh. For a while I was interested in doing more fan art work so that I might have some things to sell at like a Comic-Con or something. So a lot of my sketches ended up being like Star Wars badass warrior chicks. So Aura Singh from Clone Wars. Okay, another mermaid. This wasn't drawn for Mermaid. This was one of the first sketches in this book, actually. Which, I mean, it's a little different because I normally face the scales the opposite direction, but I thought it would be interesting almost as a dress if they faced differently. And yay for many, many eyeballs. Mermaid and a cup of tea, just lounging about. I think I drew this after coming back from hot springs one day. And Sailor Mercury, Sailor Venus, sorry. This is a weird one. This is some sort of crazy idea I had of going to, I get frustrated because I want to sell my art at a lot of these festivals, but it's so expensive to get a booth. So I was like, well, what if I was my booth and I just walked around wearing the art that I was going to sell? So I came up with like this lattice that I could strap onto my back that I could clip prints to, and then I could have a big hoop skirt and build like a wooden tray with little pockets in it here, so I could put little pins and stickers and things, and then the actual hoop skirt dress would also have like a big pocket that I could shove prints into, and then I would have various signs saying art prints, and wind chimes, and lanterns, and a parasol, and sparkly fairy lights. It never came to be, but maybe someday. Here is a interpretation of Sailor Mars, and this is on this side is kind of like a Victorian inspired mermaid kind of portrait. I really like her gills and her little shell adornments. This is a teapot head and a teacup head. I really didn't care for the background that I did. I did like a mushroom background. I did not like the way that I placed things, so I kind of tried to subdue it with a little bit of watercolor. This is one of my favorite sketches. I ended up doing some tea prints of this as well, but it's just a lovely merlady hanging out in her underwater garden. I really had so much fun getting into the details of the coral reef in the underwater garden and having fun with little schools of fish. Also very different tail. I don't draw the tails like this with like a unifin, so I thought that was kind of fun and different. Yeah, one of my favorite drawings in the sketchbook, definitely. This mermaid found some decapitated head or decapitated somebody's head. It looks to me like she's offering it to the moon or to someone, but I really like her expression and her hair, and I snuck in my three eyeball spine, kind of one of my signatures. And here's a background based on Mount Hood, or based on Trillium Lake out in Oregon. This is a kind of iconic kind of painting seen around town. So I thought I'd just kind of throw it in there. Look at the blood, the blood. And again, you can see kind of some of my corally water garden details in here. This one's a bit sad. I love curiosities and curio cabinets and preserved specimens, especially wet specimens. So, you know, it's weird too. I don't really own any, but I thought it'd be fun to draw if somebody had a mer specimen in their collection. So that's what this is. This is based on the Guy Wan teacups that I get to use every time I go to my favorite tea shop, the Tao of Tea, in Portland. It's these little cups and they have a lid on top, and you use the lid to strain the loose leaf tea to be able to drink. So I did it, but obviously sentient tea, sentient Guy Wan teacup. Some of you may recognize this. I did a YouTube video about this. I drew this sketch and posted it on Instagram, and a buddy of mine, Fat Von Free, loved it so much it struck a chord with him that he ended up commissioning me to do a full acrylic painting based on this sketch that he was going to probably use potentially as a tape, as a cover for one of his music recording tapes that he puts out. And this is a very lovely curvy mermaid lady with some very strange octopus hair. This is actually based off of a picture of my friend Caitlin Sparkle Jackson. She's modeled for me doing some body painting before, and she's just super gorgeous. And she posted a photo of herself sitting on a rock in Hawaii, and I had to kind of, it just made me need immediately to stop what I was doing and draw her as a mermaid. So it's kind of loosely based on that picture, obviously. I think this one's fun. I ended up doing a tea staining of this, a tea print, which I think are still available in my Etsy shop if you're interested, but I did a lot of woad and spirally details and body art in on her flesh, and it's very reminiscent of what I do paint when I do body paintings. And again, here's kind of like a more chubby mermaid. I'm trying to branch out and draw various body types and ethnicities, and I think she's super adorbs. She's just so happy and carefree, and I think my favorite part of drawing mermaids, though, is the scales. I just love getting into the details of that. But these are cool. These weird little underwater plant tubes are fun, too. So, yeah. These are pretty trippy. I had the idea of making, like, key goddesses. So this one's a skeleton key, kind of based on the sugar skull concept. You know, the third eye, the pineal gland, you know, doors of perception, yada, 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 key, keyhole, such and such. Little Bo Peep. She's found her sheep. This was fun to draw. I rarely get to fully immerse my characters in a sketch. Like, I don't often do full background sketches, so this is kind of atypical, and I'm proud of it. There's like a little lake with lakey stuff going on and forests. I like her little bonnet. And these guys are so funny and cute. And some cocoon ladies just chilling, cocooning. This blue is acrylic painting, and then this is actually liquid India ink that I use to get like a super opaque black going on. I don't know what they are. They're like whack-a-moles, but not. Yeah, she's a ghost, Victorian inspired. I think I had just watched the movie Crimson Peak. That's what happened. Yeah, I watched the movie Crimson Peak and was just absolutely super inspired by the costume design and various imagery in that movie. So this was inspired after watching that. This also ended up being painted for Carissa. Hi Carissa, if you're watching this. She has the original painting of this on a record that I ended up doing in lots of purples and greens it ended up. This sketch was made while at my favorite tea shop, the Tao of Tea. I met with a client who wanted me to design a deer goddess tattoo. So this was just something I was doodling while talking to her. It didn't end up anything like this, but that's what this is. And these are some various scribbly notes that I wrote down while meeting her. And this is another creature that I've done my body painting tattoo work on. I really enjoy that, and I think I keep drawing it because I really feel the itch to do some more body painting. She's got one of those trippy Peruvian elongated skulls that are like, there's a bunch of theories on why the skulls are elongated. Look it up, Ming. But this is fun. I don't think I've ever drawn like the floating crown deal, so that was different. Here's some badass dark queens. Also, Carissa, friend Carissa, collector. She was inspiring me to draw some of these ladies, some dark queens. I really like them. I want to do something with them still. I'm just not sure what yet. But I think this is definitely, I don't know, both of them, definitely some of my favorite sketches in the book. But this queen has a little harpy familiar who's probably telling her what she saw around the land as she was spying for the queen. And I hid in this queen little skulls and things and flowers in her hair. But her outfit's just outrageous. Yeah, love it. I drew this when I was out at the beach in Astoria, Oregon. I was sitting on the beach and just chilling, and I've never drawn like a mermom before. So these are all mermaid eggs, and you can see little silhouettes of her embryos in there. And then I tried to kind of do more of a coral crown, kind of like a coral crown. So she is a queen of the sea. This sketch was done inspired by Day of the Dead, and I do have tea prints in my Etsy shop of this one as well. Everybody was obsessed with Stranger Things this year. I mean, when that came out on Netflix, I really enjoyed it. And this is kind of my interpretation. And you know, she's got her bloody nose and things, and her shaved head, and her like little iconic collared dress in the woods. Is she in the upside down world? I don't know, but yeah, that's Stranger Things inspired. I really love this bodice, this little underbust corset with the pentagram. Here's a fuzzy worm lady with a cup of tea. And this is some sort of serpent maiden coiling around a bunch of skulls. And thus begins my obsession with drawing roses, sentient roses, whether they have a face or just an eyeball. But in this sketchbook, I also like really feel like I perfected my concept of skulls and how to draw them in my style. I like that there's just this weird little rose maiden sprouting out of a symbol of death. You know, I'm absolutely obsessed with Victorian houses, Victorian dress and culture. It was such a weird time, and there were so many aspects of it that were like terrible, but also there was just some beautiful things going on with dress and architecture. So this is very Victorian inspired. This is just such a dream to have a Victorian house by the coast. There's like a little coastline out here with a boat. And the lady of the house is out for a stroll, petting her garden, her little sentient roses. I put a couple little small details in here, like some mushrooms up and some on the trees and things. But yeah. This is different. I definitely shaded things differently than I normally do. Really got into it on this one, and I really like the outcome. But yeah, I think I might want to paint this someday. Definitely. Here's another one I did for Carissa. This was a commission sheet, and I ended up doing it again on another record in acrylic paint. This sketch is inspired by Darby Lager. I discovered her on Instagram. She's a brilliant photographer, a really kind of fascinating, strong, beautiful woman that inspires me a lot. And so I did this based off of a picture she posted of herself wearing a really cool necklace of keys. So that's what that is. And some cactus ladies. This is fun. I've never drawn cactus ladies before, so this was pretty cool. I liked getting into some of the like little spotty textures and little blossoms and things that cactuses have on them at times. So this page is strange because this is supposed to be me as like a preteen in Venice Beach when I was growing up. I was really, I don't know, I had a strange style, and I loved to skateboard, and I wore fairy wings everywhere. And I shaved a lot of my head most of the time, and then the hair that was there was dyed. So that's kind of just me back in the day. And this is me as an old lady. I don't know. That's what I was going for. I don't think I've showed anybody this sketch before, so now you see it. Now you don't. So now we're getting into some of these sketches that you might have seen during Drawloween, but this is a beautiful Victorian-esque woman in a coffin. I just love some of the angles in Victorian dresses, so I was inspired to do that. And I got my little signature eyeball roses all over. And I call this Lady Merwolf Sings the Blues. It's a mermaid slash werewolf howling at the moon. So you can kind of see her breath. I did these strange little bird women's. Had a lot of fun with these. I kind of want to make them into stickers eventually. Definitely. Interestingly placed third eye. This I drew when it was snowing out. So if you look closely, there's lots of little, they're supposed to be little snowflakes. Little skull sisters dancing in the snow. And here's a weird little fuzzy worm creature. Another one enjoying a cup of tea. See? Really getting into using some of that solid black. And this is one of my favorite drawings too in this sketchbook, and I'm about to begin working on a really big painting based off this plus another drawing from the sketchbook that I'm combining. But I also recently did a piece on a mural based loosely off of this floating head creature with the crystals coming out of her skull. And look at the wee little Victorian house. Dwarfed by the giant eyeball roses, and then dwarfed again by this giant lady creature floating head. I don't think anybody's seen this sketchbook, or this sketch either. This was inspired by a picture of Narissa Nefertiti, another model lady, another person on Instagram that anytime I see a picture of them, I just feel compelled to draw. So this ended up kind of weird, very random doodly. She's got fairy wings and flowers in her dreads and melting plant organisms and like I don't know. Tea spirit. It's like a little steam spirit coming out of a tea kettle or teapot. I drew these while traveling. I think I drew this one while in the air. That's why I'm like, I am an airhead. I'm floating above. I was on my way back to California to visit family for Christmas, and I drew this while on the plane, which is very important because I have really bad anxiety when flying, so I have to draw compulsively. So this is what I ended up drawing. I drew this while sitting around at the family gathering looking at the Christmas tree. And this one I drew on the way home, flying again back home to Oregon. Weird little plane goddess lady. Very different from my usual work. I think I want to try more mechanical things, like maybe a train and I don't know what else, but it'd be fun. This lady's in some sort of weird purpley soupy goop. And she's holding a planet with a big eyeball on it. And this is posted by a fellow artist who also watches this channel and has sent me tea and art, and I follow her on Instagram, Once Upon an Illustration, and she posted this photo of her cat looking at her goldfish, and I was super inspired and I had to draw it immediately. Yeah, so there's that. And this is some strange giant serpent lady, and she's out in the middle of nowhere where there's this island and this beautiful Victorian tower. Clearly these people want to be left alone based on their locale, but this serpent lady, she gives no toots. Strange little connected spirit sister head thingies. And this I drew on another snow day, and this was kind of like what I wore that day kind of deal. So I have my scarf, my headscarf, my neck scarf, two different layers of long sweater coats, and my snow boots. And my tea, of course. I went out and walked around, and it was just so cool. We get a few days of snow every year in Portland, and the whole city shuts down, so it was a snow day, and I didn't have to go to work, and it was awesome. And this is what I feel like after working at the gym one time. I'm like, okay, I don't have to go ever again. I'm like so buff right now. But this is probably more of the reality. No, this is inspired by Totoro, obviously. Totoro, 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 Totoro. Anyway, here's a close-up of a goddessy lady with some of my third eye spine goddess dealy bobs going on. I had fun designing her little hair bun and the implements that keep it that way. I called this one Witch's Tower. I want to live here. Just love like the big bay windows that are jutting out of this tower. and all the little details in the town. There's a little graveyard here and a church here and some homes and some mountains in the background. I don't think I've shown anybody this drawing either. This is an anxiety drawing. Yes, there's like fish that have ripped out of this person's torso and she's drowning. Ah, see the bubbles. These were the little cat puff things are the concepts, the initial concept sketches for the stickers I just recently started printing. And I thought it'd be fun to do like a yes, no, Ouija, goodbye, Ouija board kind of sketch. I did this while sitting at a little cafe downtown drinking tea after work. I haven't showed anybody this illustration yet, although I should be and I will be. I'm really excited about it actually. But it's just two creature ladies sitting and enjoying a cup of tea together. This one's obviously very serpenty. And look at the little polka dotted teapot and their fancy tea hats. Just really had fun drawing this one. I love this character too. I want to make up like a whole story and a comic book based on her, but I don't know. For now, she's frozen in time in my sketchbook. I did this one after seeing a few other artists that I admire online doing expression charts. So I think expression is definitely something I can get better at doing. So this was like a good practice. So I have fear, peace, despair, and mischievous. And this is just her regular. Tree ladies! Look at them go! So fun. I want to do some more of these, but better, hopefully. This is another anxiety drawing. I wasn't feeling well and I was worried and I was having to go to the doctor and everything's fine, but this was kind of like the drawing before. And, you know, there's just so much going on in the world right now, and, you know, death is something that is often on our minds, or being pushed upon our minds, and so this is kind of like a butterfly, which is in a way a symbol of death and transformation, because they do go into their cocoons and, you know, transform into new things. So that's kind of like my specter of death here, and this lady's looking the other way, clearly terrified about this thing that's on her shoulder. But I actually really enjoy this sketch a lot, and it means a lot to me, so I might do something with it. Who knows? And then I recently found out I have high cholesterol and I can't eat fried eggs anymore, and I love fried eggs. So here's my little tribute to fried eggs. Yeah. And another anxiety drawing. You can kind of see it in the way that my lines are put down. It's more frantic, it's more scratchy. I kind of enjoy it. When I can see the anxiety in some of my sketches. You know, sketching is very therapeutic for me, and it's taking my sketchbook around to everywhere is kind of like a security blanket for me too, because at any moment I can just whip out my sketchbook and dive into it and, you know, create a different world, or, you know, whatever. So here's one. This is actually my first sketch for Mermaid. So there's some sort of giant floating mermaid specter hanging out above this Victorian house. I don't know. I don't think I showed this one either. Not too pleased with it, but I thought it was kind of interesting. She's kind of interesting. Weird little creature. Little vapor, black vapor thing. I really like this one. I drew this on a super windy day. I felt like I could just be blown away at any moment. I just love drawing giant women. Have you noticed that? This one was also inspired off of a photo on Instagram where there was a bunch of women on the more curvy side posing together holding hands, and I just thought that it was super sweet because we really need to stick together and support each other. So that's what that's all about, and I did snuck in my little third eye spine. And this one is also Mermaid, and it's acrylic painting. Acrylic paint is the purple, and then the black ink is actually my quill pen, India ink dip pen thingamajig. And then there's also some silver paint pen in here, if you can see that. And the blue and the pink are also acrylic. More acrylic painting. See, I love this sketchbook. It totally takes painting totally fine. Like, there's no bleed through on the next page. But I tried some rock stackings here, and this is kind of like a tree limb with moss hanging and these weird little flying spirit eyeballs and little mushrooms coming off her shoulder. Pentagram with the crescent moon. Here's another mermaid, different. I used the scales and came up through the whole body, and then the rest of this is my usual spirally woad body painting stuff, and I kind of gave her a fro made out of bubbles, which I really thought was fun. Really fun! Another mermaid piece. There's a legend, and one of my favorite animes is Mermaid Scar, Mermaid Flesh. It's like a bunch of them, but the whole premise is that if you eat the flesh of a mermaid and survive, you live forever. But most people who do it end up dying because it's super poisonous. So here's like a mermaid in a poison bottle. You can't see it too well, but her fin's kind of wrapped up in here. But I had fun creating little poison labels and stuff and putting the highlights in. And I even put some little poison vapors escaping from the neck of the bottle. And that's it. This is actually a sticker from RX. It's actually a collab between RX and Vox Romana, both really great local sticker artist dudes. And this is another Silly Weird Things drawing. A lot of the times the words are based off of random overheard pieces of conversation. I'm not sure where I got the sticker from, but maybe it was in a trade pack. But I loved it because it's like Sasquatch in space. And yeah. Alright. That's it. Yay! We did it! We finished the sketchbook tour. I hope you enjoyed your time. Thank you so much for watching, liking, subscribing, commenting. Seriously, it means so much to me. And I also want to do a quick shout out. Thank you to all my Patreon supporters. Thank you so much for your support. And for those of you who are interested in collecting some of my original acrylic paintings, my pen and ink illustrations, my tea stainings, just prints or button pins and stickers, check out my Etsy shop, which is lucidopticlab.etsy.com. And yeah, it's gonna be a while till my next sketchbook tour, so I hope this was a goodie. And the next video on my list to do is a Mermaid video, because as you know, it is the month of May, and I have been having quite a lot of fun doing some sketches when I can. So the next video will focus on my art that I've created for Mermaid. And I think I'm gonna dress up as a mermaid in the video just because it'd be fun. So there's that. So more coming soon. Thank you again. Much love. Bye-bye.